Okay, so Battlefield 1. Guys, I've been playing the closed alpha for the past week or so here, and I wanted to sort of speak my mind a little bit about what I think so far. So here we go. I am so undecided on whether or not I like the game so far. It has some good things going for it, but it also has some bad things. Now I'm gonna try to get through all my thoughts here quickly enough, because the last thing we need is another 15-minute video of someone just blindly praising the game or blindly crapping on it. But to be fair to the game, I'm gonna start with the things that I liked. So first of all, I really like the simplicity of it. 4 classes, 3 different types of land vehicles, 1 type of plane. Obviously, I think that's right, but obviously all that's subject to change though, as the game is still in alpha, and they're most definitely holding at least some things back until the beta. So by the time the open beta rolls around, there may be some additional vehicles, but as it stands right now, I'm actually pretty happy with that limited amount. The weapon choices between the classes are also somewhat slim pickings at this point. I don't know if they're gonna add more or not, and it actually kind of took me a while to figure out what the differences between the different configurations were, but once I got the gist of it and tried out some different configurations with different playstyles, I sort of got it, for lack of a better term. Each class has 3 different weapons to choose from so far, and each weapon has 2 different configurations. Usually it will be something like a trench configuration that will have better hip fire but less accuracy, and the other side, or the other configuration, will be a marksman or accuracy one that will have worse hip fire but better ADS accuracy. So in total, you had 6 choices for each class. Now this is something I actually really like about Battlefield 1 so far. The limited amount of options for weapons makes it easier for them to balance the game, which in turn should make things more fair and enjoyable. While each class and weapon has its weak and strong points, what you pick will pretty much weigh heavily on the type of playstyle you're going to want to employ. Like rushing and firing from the hip, choose a trench configuration. Like playing defensively and picking off targets from farther away, choose an accuracy configuration. I'm also very happy to report that so far I feel like most of the weapons are pretty balanced. There's no single gun so far that's like the god gun or anything like that, although that Automatico is pretty widely used and pretty deadly in close. But if you're more than 10 feet away from the guy, forget about it. It's not gonna do you many favors. Every weapon has its merits, so it's nice to see that this early in the game, DICE has done a pretty good job of balancing the weapons, which was like a really big problem in Battlefield 4. Another thing that I will absolutely praise this game for is the environment destruction, and the graphics really. The destruction is so dynamic and so well done, I have to tip my hat at that. They did a really good job, but I still see a glaring problem in this that has been around since BF4, and that is the amount of collisions you get with pieces of the environment. I find I'm getting stuck on things all the time, and if there's like a piece of rubble on the ground, you try to walk over it, you get stuck, and that has gotten me killed a lot so far in the alpha. So that's an area that definitely needs a lot of improvement if you ask me. Whether or not it's the new Frostbite engine that's at fault here, or just some polishing that needs to be done to the game, I don't know, but it's a really big problem if you ask me. But yeah, like the graphics and everything are all super top notch, and the airship is badass as hell when it gets destroyed and it plummets to the ground in that ball of fire. That is absolutely stunning. Overall, the graphics and the visuals are amazing. The changing weather is really a nice addition to the game, and it's not like in Paracel Storm where you've got, a predetermined storm that rolls in every match at a fixed time. No, this is like fully dynamic. It can change at any point during the match to any type of weather. One thing I will say about the weather though, and this is probably on purpose, but man, it is tough to see people when it's either raining or foggy. Like I said though, that's probably by design. When it's nice and sunny, you can spot people from pretty far away. But when it's raining and foggy, man, it is hard to see people. But let's move on now to what I would consider to be some bad things about Battlefield 1. First and foremost, it is so difficult and frustrating to try to take out a tank on your own. It's pretty much impossible. There are no rocket launchers in the game whatsoever, and the only way to destroy a tank is with a coordinated effort. One anti-tank grenade is not gonna cut it, and same goes for, you know, the support class's anti-tank weapon, I forget what it's called, and the recon's Keii bullets. No one gadget will allow you to take out a tank by yourself, so you have to have at least a couple people working on it to be successful. And I can't decide whether or not I like this. In previous Battlefield titles, you at least stood like somewhat of a chance at taking out a tank on your own if you ran into one. You know, you had rocket launchers, C4s, slams, all that good stuff that enabled you to have a fighting chance against the tank, all by yourself, I guess. In Battlefield 1, good luck trying to take out a tank by yourself, man. I can pretty much guarantee that you will not be successful. It's going to take at least a couple anti-tank grenades, of which you only get one unless you're a shock trooper who has selected the anti-tank grenade as your gadget and your actual grenade slot item. Even then, 2 grenades is probably not going to do the job unless the tank has already taken damage. So it basically requires a group effort or another tank. Now, while this does lend a bit of realism to the game, I feel like people are just grabbing the tanks and heading out to the edge of the map and just sort of putting around out there, defending a couple objectives and just racking up the kills. If there's a large open space between you and a tank, forget it, man. You will be hard pressed to even get close enough to damage it. So I feel like the tankers can kind of exploit that a little bit, and I feel like there needs to be something in the game to help the lowly foot soldier do a bit more damage on a tank by himself. That's just the way I feel about it, I guess. The game is very scaled back as far as a Battlefield game goes. Like, there's not a lot of vehicles, there's not a lot of different weapons either. It's almost like they really wanted to favor the infantry players, so I say, why not make it a little more fun for us? Give us something that can really damage a tank. Because as it stands right now, if you're playing alone, you're pretty much fucked if you run into a tank by yourself. Now, some people may say, oh, well, it's more realistic that way. Battlefield is a military simulator, so it should be more realistic and what. Okay, I get what you're saying, but Battlefield, as much as people like to say it is, it's not a military simulator. It's a video game, dudes. And video games are meant to be fun, so give us something to have fun with. Besides, if it's supposed to be a simulator, then why do we have everyone running around with SMGs and impact grenades in a World War I setting? It's not true to life to begin with. But having said that, I really enjoyed playing as the medic and the recon, since they both use rifles, which is a little bit more true to what World War I was really like. Mind you, the medic's weapon is a semi-automatic rifle. Not sure if they had semi-automatics back then, but it's still a single shot, so I feel like that is a little bit more true to the time period. But those two classes are really fun to play as, and the recon class's bolt action rifles are really powerful, which is nice. And of course the Keii bullets actually do a lot of damage to vehicles and planes if you manage to hit one, which feels good, man. Feels good. But how is it, like, overall, you might ask? Well, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm really undecided. Half of me finds it fun, fun enough, but the other half of me feels like it's really stripped down. Like, it isn't going to be as involved, I guess, as previous Battlefield titles. It feels like anybody can just pick it up, pick a random class, and go out and do work. And in a sense, that's a good thing. But I feel like Battlefield 1 might go the way of Hardline. There will definitely be people actively playing for the first couple of months, that much is for sure. But I feel like it's a very real possibility that a couple of months after release, this game is going to be dead. Like, I think some players might just end up going back to BF4 because this game doesn't seem as grandiose, I guess, as previous titles. Heck, even Hardline seemed to have more content than Battlefield 1 has. That being said, I haven't seen any of the customization of weapons yet, as that feature was not available in the alpha, so I don't want to make that presumption just yet. For the time being, I'm gonna remain neutral and just say that I did have fun playing the alpha, but I also had some incredibly frustrating experiences with it as well. Namely, trying to tank out a tank and getting wrecked over and over and over again. And also, it just seems like you get shot from you don't even have an idea where the guy is and you're just dead in an instant. I don't know about that. Seems kind of fishy to me. So for now, I'm not actually gonna give an absolute opinion. Just know that I'm a little bit disappointed so far with what I've experienced, but at the same time I did have a little bit of fun as I've been playing the alpha, and there's still one day left, so I'm gonna try it again tonight. Maybe I'll get some more gameplay and make another video for you guys. So be that as it may, I still want to buy the game. I might not be too happy about it in the end. It might turn into another hardline for me, but I'll still buy it. Just before I go though, has anyone else played the alpha? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it, so let me know down in the comments, guys. I promise I'll reply. We can have a little discussion about the game so far, but that's really all I have to say on it at this point. If I think of anything else, I'll definitely make another video. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the game so far. I'd love to hear your comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button, guy. As always, my name is Grizz, and I'll see you in the near future. Peace.